So we got the leaks for chapter 296, and it looks like this is going to be like the post-arc wrap-up, and this will probably be one of a few chapters, I assume. And this chapter is definitely doing a good job of that, but it hasn't fully explained everything. But some of the things it does explain for sure is who has died and who has not died, at least for the most part. But let me also point out, we don't have the translations yet, but I do have like 2 rough translations for some panels, so let's just get into it. Showing us that some heroes actually survived that huge, decay tidal wave that Shigaraki caused, like when he woke up. Pixie Bob, and I guess the rest of the wild pussycats by proxy are alive because they're showing that she's alive, but she was there at ground zero, and the decay tidal wave was like coming at her, but then we saw her like last second activating her quirk where she can like manipulate earth and stuff, trying to like divert the tidal wave from like overtaking them. And I guess it worked out because she's not on the list of heroes who have died. So another one is Wash. Wash is alive apparently, and somehow Wash was able to fend off the tidal wave using their bubble quirk or whatever they're doing here. Wash was another hero shown at ground zero, like when things were popping off. Wash was like evacuating people with like the bubble quirk or whatever, and then the tidal wave was coming and it wasn't looking good, but I guess Wash persevered and somehow made it through it. Another one is Present Mike. Present Mike is, I suppose, being confirmed to be alive here, so he's gonna make it out, which is awesome. So another hero we're seeing here is 13. Totally forgot 13 was even in this arc. But yeah, 13 was able to survive the DK tidal wave, I suppose, or just survive this arc in general. But also 13's mask helmet thing is cracked and we're seeing a part of her face. And this is clearly the first time, at least as far as I know, that we've ever even come close to seeing 13's face. And I guess that's what we expected for the most part. So then going further, it shows a little bit more of like the aftermath of the battles and stuff like that. And we're seeing Shigaraki with the Nomus a little bit more, but then it's cutting to Gigantomachia, who is still like wrapped up in Best Genius's carbon fiber cables, but it looks like he's like still knocked out from the sedative stuff that Yaoyorozu made. And it looks like he is going to be arrested here, somehow taken to Tartarus, I guess. They're doing something with him. He definitely hasn't made it out of here. So another villain here, which is kind of surprising to me, is Mr. Compress. It looks like he's survived this and he is definitely going to live, I guess, because he's like on this stretcher and he's all bandaged up and he has like an oxygen mask on, but he's also like smiling. I guess he's just like happy that like, Shigaraki and the rest of them were able to make it out of there, essentially because of what he did in the previous chapter. So now we have like 2 more villains going to Tartarus, supposedly. So that's going to play into what I think is going to happen after this chapter, and I'll talk about that. So after we see them, we're actually getting the results of 2 battles that were kind of up in the air up until this point. And that's Edgeshot versus Redestro. It appears that Edgeshot won. And he just defeated Redestro because Redestro is like down for the count and Edgeshot's just standing there like, the victor. So that's kind of surprising. A lot of us suspected that Redestro was probably going to defeat Edgeshot, but no, Edgeshot pulled this one out. So that's actually a pretty significant victory for him. So another battle result here is Getten versus Cement Toss. This one has made less apparent who the clear winner was. It looks more like it was like a draw or something because Getten is like knocked out, like stuck in like a cement wall or something, and Cement Toss is on the ground with like ice spikes in him, and it almost looks like Cement Toss is straight up dead here, but I guess he's not because he's not on the list of confirmed hero deaths. Also, another villain we're seeing getting captured here is Slide and Go, like the real traitor, from the heroes. We saw that like right in the beginning of the arc. Death Arms like figured out that he was the traitor and he just like put him in a headlock and just took him out. So yeah, he's just captured here. So after that, the majority of this chapter just shows like the destruction of the city, pretty much like how almost everything is completely destroyed and like how the civilians are dealing with this. Like there's a lot of civilian casualties here. Actually, that might even be the number that was clocked, that 6,000 number. That might be talking about the civilian casualties here. Not sure, just taking a guess. But there's like a lot of destruction here, and not just where Shigaraki did the decay bomb, but also remember like Gigantomachia plowed through multiple cities to get to that point and like completely destroyed them. And there's so many people that got messed up by this, and we're seeing like Uraraka and Tsuyu like saving people like throughout this, like from falling rubble and pulling them out of stuff. But at this point, we're coming to like the confirmed hero death list. Like, it shows us all the heroes who have died, like all of their portraits. And we're introduced to this by like the other team that was like against Gigantomachia, like Kirishima, Yaoyorozu, and Ashido. They're like looking down and they're crying, and then we see that they're holding the hand of Midnight. And at the top of the list is Midnight, because she's confirmed to be dead here. And that's another speculation that I had, because it wasn't looking good for her when she got hit by that rubble that Mr. Compress threw at her when they were like chasing after Gigantomachia. She like fell down. There was like this random like flame villain that found her, and I guess he like nuked her or something, because that was like the last thing that we saw of her. And it was up in the air if she survived or not, but it just wasn't looking good for her. And this is like confirming that she's definitely dead, unfortunately. But aside from her, it's Crust, who we knew for sure was dead. We saw him decay. Then Majestic, he's dead for sure. We kind of knew that was going to happen. Exless, we knew that he was dead because he was, you know, straight up at ground zero when Shigaraki woke up. And then surprisingly, Native is dead too. Native is the guy that we saw in the Stain arc. Like, he was the hero that Stain was about to kill in that back alley before Izuku shows up to come save him. So yeah, this guy's just dead. I don't even think we got to see what his quirk was. And then the rest of the heroes on this list here are kind of just guys who maybe we've seen once or twice throughout the series. Some of them I don't even think have names, but just further showing that there was quite a few hero casualties here. I mean, there's like at least 14 other heroes who have straight up died. And then it cuts to like Izuku and Endeavor, just like close-ups of their faces, like still like right after the battle. They're all wrecked, all messed up. I'm not sure exactly what Izuku's saying here, but I think it might have something to do with his arms, because that was like, you know, the big thing that was going on in this arc. Like, he was going way past the limit of his arms, which were already on thin ice. So this might be teasing that Izuku is like paralyzed or something like that, which may or may not happen after this. So then after that, it cuts to Tartarus, and we see All For One like sitting in his, you know, super Hannibal Lecter chair thing. He's saying some things, I don't know, probably just something ominous, but then it cuts to Shigaraki on the back of the Nomus, like going somewhere. And then the rough translation for this is, why do you think tomorrow is coming? We don't have time to rest. From now on, turn. Know that my brain doesn't get fatigued. From now on, my body is free. The worst is yet to come. So I guess that's Shigaraki talking about All For One, you know, possibly all of that stuff, but also tomorrow is coming, the worst is yet to come. They showed Tartarus before this. I assume, or at least I hope, that this is setting up the Tartarus prison break, because they kind of have to at this point, you know, because like I even think Yujiko is probably locked up, considering they didn't show him in this chapter, but I don't think he was escaped or anything like that. So hopefully we get the prison break after this, and then that leads us into what I assume is the final arc, considering Horikoshi said the series is coming to a conclusion soon. I don't know, but let me know what you think about these spoilers in the comments. If you liked the video, guys, please give it a like, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.